Okay, for the first question, it says if the business has 100 customers, they charge $125 per cleaning. That's per customer, right? And then it says for every $5 reduction in the price, they get an additional 20 customers. So I just try to put this information and chart it out just to get some numbers to get a sense of what's going on. So you can see here from 125, if the price reduced by $5, the number of customers went up from 100 to $120. I'm sorry, 100 customers to 120 customers. And this pattern continues. From 120, you take away 5, you get 115. Similarly, from 120, you add 20 to 120, you get 140. So I just wrote a bunch of numbers. Now, we are given four equations for revenue, and the task is we have to choose which one is the correct representation of the revenue based on the situation. That equation should hold good for the situation that for every $5 reduction in the price of cleaning, the business gains an additional 20 customers. Now, revenue can also be calculated by taking the cost per cleaning multiplied by the number of customers. So that's one equation. And the other equation for revenue is it could be any one of the four, either A or B or C or D. So we really have a system of equations. So mathematically, if you're writing this, you use braces. So these two equations are together, they form the system of equations. So one of the equations is the cost per cleaning multiplied by the number of customers. The other equation is a mystery, we have to figure that out. So we are essentially finding a system solution here. That means a solution that's going to be true for both these equations. So now I'm starting with a guess. My guess is A could be the answer. So suppose A is the equation. So based on that equation, let me solve for X. You know, it's a quadratic equation, all the revenue equations. So I'm solving for X value. Remember, it has a negative sign in front, so it's this is like a U facing down, a parabola that faces down. So that vertex is given by negative b over 2a, and that's actually the x coordinate value. So b is the coefficient of the x term, that is a 600, and a is negative 4. So I substituted negative 600 divided by 2 times negative 4. So I have negative 600 divided by negative 8. That gives me 75, a positive 75. This means this is the value of x. Remember, x is the cost per cleaning. So now I have a chart. I just made the chart. I'm going to see if I have $75 as the cost per cleaning, what should be the revenue for this business? So if the cost is $75, then based on the information in the second sentence, let me put a parenthesis around. Based on that sentence, I should be having 300 customers. And then the money I get, or if I'm the business, the money I make will be 75 times 300. That's a 225, $22,500. So now, since I'm guessing that A could be the answer, I take my equation for A, and I'm going to substitute for X. So what I did is negative 4 substitute for X. So in parentheses, I have 75 to the second power plus 600 times 75. I've simplified this and I get 22,500, which is exactly what my little chart says. So that means it's satisfying both equation 1 and 2. So at this point, I'm really inclined to think A is the answer. But then it's always good to check at least one more solution that fits the equation A. So I'm just to make it easy on myself, I like when I have like more number of zeros whenever I have to check something. I picked 300 as the number of, I picked the number, I think, uh, yeah, no, it's okay. I picked x equal to 120. So just going down by 5, I have cost of cleaning is 120. That's a number I picked. So I plug in 120 in my equation A and I get $14,400 as the revenue. And you can see in my chart, I do have 14,400 as the revenue. So that means equation A holds good for the x value 120 and also the x value 75. So I'm really going to trust and say A is the answer. I'm going to encourage you to try for the other values of A. That will be a good way to practice your calculations. I want you to try all the other values and see if your simplification will give you the same numbers as you have in this chart for the revenue. So that's question one. Question two is, so the total 30 hours, you can break this down as the first 7 hours and then the second 10 hours and then the remaining. So 7 plus 10 is 17, and then 30 take away 13, 20, 17. 30 take away 17 gives me 13 hours. So you add 7, 10, and 13, that gives me 30 hours. So cost for the first 7 hours is $25 per hour. So I said 25 times 7, that's $175. For the next 10 hours, it's $10 per hour. So 10 times 10 is 100. And then for the remaining hours, which is 13 hours, it's $5 per hour. So 13 times 5 is 65. So now you add all these costs for these different category of hours. So that comes to 275 plus 5 is 280. 280 plus 60 is a 340. So that's my solution.